Eto na ang programang magiging gabay mo upang ikaw ay matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela! Makinig at matuto. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela! Alternatibong programang handog ng DepEd Soxargen na kahit saan ka man ay matututo ka. DepEd 12 Radyo Eskwela!
Naguguluhan, nalilito. Paano ba kung matututo?
Good day to our dearest grade 10 students. This is your school on the air in grade 10 English. We are glad to be learning with you through radio. I am Miss Hera Joy Alcahoy from Buayan National High School. How are you, my dear students? Make sure that you are in your most comfortable place and can clearly hear our broadcast. Have you eaten your meal? In order for you to learn and understand our lesson this day properly, it would be better if you have already eaten your meal. My greetings also to all the supportive parents out there listening to our broadcast. This time, I wanted to bring out your handout. Again, let me remind you that our lesson for today is about determining the effect of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, non-linear illustrations, and etc. on the understanding of a text. Specifically, determine the effects of textual aids like timeline in understanding a text, okay? Everyone, please bring out your handout now. Okay, everyone, before we will begin with a new lesson, let's take a look and review the concepts you have learned in the past lesson. I hope that you can still remember our entire previous lesson. Can you still remember what we have learned last time? Anyone? Very good. In the previous lesson, we have learned about graphic organizers like Venn diagram for comparison and contrast, and cause and effect diagram to clearly illustrate cause and effect relationships. For sure, you are now beginning to appreciate the use of these textual aids in understanding a text. You have learned the following points. A Venn diagram helps a reader make a comparison and contrast about two or more things or ideas, and illustrate relationships between and among objects that share something in common. Cause and effect diagram, on the other hand, will help you illustrate the relationship on why something happens or visually explains the effect of something. This time, please be ready to learn our new lesson. Are you ready? If you want to go to the toilet or drink water, do it now, because a few moments from now, we're going to start. Hello? Are you back, dear students? Please get your notebook and pen now. As what I have said a while ago, our lesson for today is about determining the effects of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, non-linear illustrations, and etc. on the understanding of a text. Specifically, determine the effects of textual aids like timeline in understanding a text. Please bring out your handout so you can follow me. This is our module number 2, lesson number 2. Later, we will have a short quiz. If you will listen very carefully and attentively to the lesson, I am sure you can answer the questions well. So good luck, learners, and enjoy the lesson.
Grade 10 English, Quarter 1, Module 2, Lesson 2. The effect of textual aids on the understanding of a text.
Once again, good morning, grade 10 learners. Our lesson today is about determining the effect of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, nonlinear illustration, and etc. on the understanding of a text. Specifically, determine the effects of textual aids like timeline in understanding a text. Are you ready? Please get your notebook and ball pen because we are now going to start our lesson. Oftentimes, reading long text about history, a long process, or even story needs time for you to figure out everything you have read. Today, you are going to learn about the use of another graphic organizer which will help you understand what you are reading. Everyone, I want you to bring out your self-learning module number 2. Please open it on page 9. Have you opened it? Very good. Okay, all together, let us read a short selection. Are you ready, students? Let us read together. After reading the short selection, you are going to answer the guided questions found below the selection. This will help you fill in the data needed to accomplish the flowchart and arrange the process in chronological order. Okay, let us read. Sungka, pronounced as sungka, is a game played on a solid wooden block with 2 rows of 7 circular holes and 2 large holes at both ends called head. The game begins with 49 game pieces, shells, marbles, pebbles, or seeds, equally distributed to alternate holes, 7 pieces in every other hole except heads, which remain empty. Sungka requires 2 players. Each player controls the 7 holes on his side of the board and owns the head to his right. The goal is to accumulate as many pieces in your own head. The first player removes all pieces from the hole on the extreme left of his side. He then distributes them anti-clockwise, 1 in each hole to the right of that hole, omitting an opponent's head but not a player's own head. If the last piece falls into an occupied hole, then all the pieces are removed from that hole and are distributed in the same way to the right of that hole in another round. This player's current turn ends when the last piece falls into an empty hole on the opponent's side. If the last piece distributed falls into a player's own head, then the player earns another turn, which can begin at any of the 7 holes on his side. If the last piece distributed falls into an empty hole in his side, then the player captures all the pieces in the hole directly across from this one on the opponent's side and put them in his own head. If the opposing hole is empty, no pieces are captured. The other player chooses which hole he wishes to start from, removes the pieces and distributes them, 1 in each hole to the right of that chosen hole. If a player has no pieces on his side of the board when it is his turn, then he must pass. The game ends when no pieces are left in any hole on both sides of the board. The players now count the number of pieces in their own head and see who has won. This game with variation is also played in other Southeast Asian countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia, where it is known as Kongkak. We are back! Hello students! Now let us answer the questions. Please write your answers in your notebook. Please get your notebook and pen. Are you ready now? Number 1. What is the first step to start the game? Number 2. What is the second and third step of the game? Number 3. How does the game end? Okay, please stop writing. This time let us check your work. Let us answer the given questions. Number 1 answer. First step. The first player removes all the pieces from the hole on the clockwise, extreme left off on his side. He then distributes them anti-omitting and one in each hole to the right of that hole. Opponent's head but not a player's own head. If the last piece distributed falls into a player's own head, then the player earns another turn, which can begin at any of the 7 holes on his side. Number 2 answer. Second step. The other player chooses which hole he wishes to start from, removes the pieces, and distributes them from the hole to the right of that chosen hole. If a player has no pieces on his side of the board when it is turn, then he must pass. Number 3 answer. Third step and last step. The game ends with no pieces are left in any hole on both sides of the board. The players now count the number of pieces in their own head and see who has won. So did you get all the correct answers, students? Very good. Don't worry if you did not get all the correct answers. As we go along with the lesson, you will learn and be familiar with the lesson. Hello again, dear grade 10 learners. Let us discuss now another type of graphic organizer called timeline. Now, what is timeline? A timeline is a type of graphic organizer that shows specific events in sequence, usually with dates, in a linear fashion. Timelines are particularly useful for studying or reviewing history, because the timeline will display major events over a period of time. Timeline also helps you put events in chronological order, show progress or change, chronicle historical events. Okay, let's continue. Please open your self-learning module on page 10. What can you say about the illustration? Very good. The illustrations or pictures given are examples of a timeline graphic organizer. You can see there sequence chart, flow chart, and chronological retelling. Okay, altogether, what is timeline organizer? A timeline organizer shows specific events in sequence, usually with dates, in a linear fashion. Examples are sequence chart, flow chart, and chronological retelling. Now that we have learned what a timeline graphic organizer is, you'll have more guided practice. Good luck! Let us see how far you have gone in understanding the topic. This time, let us do the activity 2.2 on page 11. Okay, students, please follow as I read the text. After reading, I will be giving you some questions to answer, so please listen carefully. Activity 2.2. History of South Cotabato, Philippines. Centuries ago, the area that would be South Cotabato was sparsely inhabited by Malay pioneers, which later evolved into various ethnic groupings that still exist in the province today. Settlers who would lay the foundation of what would become a progressive province started trooping down in 1914. The significant thrust occurred during the term of President Quezon in the late 30s. The first wave of settlers that time was led by General Paulino Santos, a man whose undaunted pioneering spirit inspired thousands. After World War II, the final exodus of settlers from Luzon and the Visayas poured into the virgin land of promise. In the early 60s, as population, trade, and industries grew in the southern part of Cotabato, a clamor for local self-governance arose. Thus, on July 18, 1966, South Cotabato was finally formed as an independent province, rearing to push its own development. In 1992, South Cotabato gave birth to a new province. 7 towns in the southern and coastal section of the province now form part of the province of Sarangani. That was a new challenge, and South Cotabateños, with their indomitable pioneering spirit, have proven once more their ability to face and hurdle diverse challenges, and ably went through with the demands of times. The new millennium ushers in a new beginning for the province with the coming in of regional offices in the area in consonance with EO 429 dated October 12, 1990, issued by President Corazon C. Aquino, and EO number 36 dated September 19, 2001, issued by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, provide for the reorganization of the new administrative region in Mindanao and having the city of Coronadal as the regional center of Region 12. In only 3 decades since its provincehood, South Cotabato has already surpassed dozens of provinces established half a century ahead, and in almost every aspect of development. In a short span, it becomes one of the leading provinces in Mindanao. What it got to show today are vivid results of human synergy and the richness of its resources. Okay, did you understand the short text? Let us now measure your understanding about the text. Please answer the following questions. Number 1. Who were the first inhabitants of the province? Number 2. In what year did the inhabitants begin to troop down in South Cotabato? Number 3. In what year did the first wave of settlers from Luzon, headed by General Paulino Santos, occupy South Cotabato? Number 4. In what year South Cotabato was formed as independent province? Question number 5. In what years did President Corazon Aquino and President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo issue the EO 429 and EO number 36 respectively, which make Coronadal City as the regional center of Region 12? Time is up, students. This time let us check your activity. Here are the answers. For activity 2.2, Event 1, settlers begin to troop down. Beginning date 1914. Event 2, South Cotabato was finally formed as independent province. Date 2, July 18, 1966. Event 3, Sarangani province was formed. Date 3, 1992. Event 4, EO 429, coming of regional offices. Date 4, October 12, 1990. Event 5, EO 36, making Coronadal as the center of regional offices. Date 5, September 19, 2001. Very good, students. How did you go with the activity? How was your scores? I do hope that you'll get all the answers correctly. Congratulations, my dear learners. You have gone this far. I hope that you have understood our lesson today about the effect of advanced organizers on the understanding of a text. I will help you with a recap of our lesson. We enjoyed the lesson, right? We will do the recap later after some reminders. And we are back in school on the air in grade 10 English. A while ago, I shared about determining the effects of textual aids like advanced organizers, titles, non-linear illustration, and etc. on the understanding of a text. Specifically, determining the effects of textual aids like timeline in understanding a text. This time, let us do the recap. Please open your notes and let us review what you have learned today. I shared about timeline organizer. A timeline organizer shows specific events in sequence, usually with dates, in a linear fashion. Examples are sequence chart, flow chart, and chronological retelling. I believe you have learned a lot from the very start of our lesson. It's a pleasure that you will perfectly remember the significant points of your lesson. Now that we are done with our lesson, it's time to measure your knowledge on what you have learned today. Please bring out your 1/2 sheet of paper. Please write your name and date today. Please do not forget the lesson number for this quiz today, module number 2, lesson number 2. Good, that is correct. Are you ready? Please set aside your notes and listen very carefully. I will be giving you 5 questions for this quiz. Listen very carefully. Fill in the blanks with the correct answer to complete the sentence. Choose your answer from the following choices. Write this on your paper. Are you ready? These are the choices: story, events, history, progress, sequence, chronological, timeline. Here is question number 1. A blank is a type of graphic organizer that displays specific events, usually with dates in a linear style. Question number 2. Timelines are useful reviewing blank because the timeline will display major blank over a period of time. Question number 3. Timeline also helps you put events in blank order. Question number 4. Timeline is useful in tracking back important events in a blank. And question number 5. Timeline can also be useful to show blank or change. That ends our short quiz for today. Have you answered all the questions, students? Make sure that you have written all the important details in your 1/2 sheet of paper. If you have more questions, please do not hesitate or include to write it down. If you have any questions or would like to clarify, please write them down as well. Here are the answers for activity 2.3. Number 1, timeline. Number 2, history. Number 3, chronological. Number 4, story. And number 5, progress. This ends our discussion for today. Another lesson has been learned and understood. To further enhance your understanding on the lesson, please read your handout. You will be notified by your subject teacher through text message for more information and clarification. You can also send your activity to your teacher's email or send a message through Facebook. Our next lesson will be Advanced Organizers Concept Map. Make sure to stay tuned in our School on the Air. Till next time, this has been your teacher, Ms. Heronjoy L. Cahoy. Always remember to study well. Have a great day ahead, everyone. God bless. Goodbye.
Bagong araw na naman, bagong kaalaman, bagong matututunan sa paaralang panghimpapawid kami.